My guest recognizes the ingredients of a dynamic movie. And although Ken Wales won't be on the Oscar roster for 2007 nominees, he is continuing to bring us stories of love, honor, sacrifice, and humor. Ken Wales' talents were recognized by Walt Disney, who presented him with the first Disney scholarship. 30 years later, Ken served as vice president of production for the Disney Channel. We are highlighting different aspects of Ken's career over 3 days. This is our second assault. Ken.
And here we go.
Here we go. Now, I mentioned that a movie that doesn't always make the top of the list of your, how many films?
A lot of them, 40, 50, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. Happens to be one that our family, when I was a child growing up, The Great Race.
Ah, yes.
If it was spotted in the TV guide, we were there. Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, Natalie Wood, the car race around the world. Now, here's what I have to tell you. You know, something that's impressed you and impacted your life and been a blessing, you want to share. So
Absolutely.
Now, I have growing children. This is several years ago. I thought, I'm going to see if I can find and rent the movie that was made in
1964.
Okay. I found it.
You did.
We put it in. I've beefed this up. I'm telling the kids, you are going to love this movie. Do you know what the shocking discovery was?
What was it?
Shocks me still. It was too slow.
Oh.
That race around the world just, you know,
it took forever.
It took forever.
But part of the fun was all the time it took to set up one gag was the delight of the comedy. You may remember in The Castle, when Ross Martin plays the evil Baron.
Yes.
And I did a small part just before that. You didn't realize it.
You're in the movie as well?
In the movie, I'm the guard. I'm the Baron's evil guard, or the evil Baron's guard, who catches Natalie Wood swimming, taking a bath in the lake.
Okay, I gotta
And I
watch it
sweep
again.
down on a horse and pick her up. She's rather skimpily dressed, but it's a job. Somebody had to do it. And put her on the horse, bring her back to the dungeon, and torture her.
Oh my.
And of course, that's the sword fight. But it took Blake Edwards, the director, all that time to set up a sword fight so that one gag could happen. And it's at the end of the sword fight where the Baron rushes to the window, as
the
he's
open window,
being defeated, and he's got a scar, and Leslie has got him right to the point of the window, and he flings open the window and says, "Mr. Leslie, as a very famous Englishman once said, he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. So until another day, Mr. Leslie, farewell." And he dives out of the window 3 stories into a boat in the moat, but he goes right through the bottom of the boat.
I remember it well.
20 minutes for one gag.
Oh, well, that was huge. And isn't he the same character in the barroom fight, the saloon fight? He keeps getting wiped out, and they'll stand up and clean himself off, and he says, "Now will you give me some fighting room?"
That was Texas Jack.
Oh, different character.
That was Texas Jack.
Do you know, for my whole childhood, my mother, for different reasons,
Yes.
would quote that line. "Now will you give me some fighting room?"
I can hear him. I hear your mom saying it.
Oh, just...
But a delightful comedy, really about the good versus evil, because the great Leslie was always dressed in white, the good guy.
His teeth sparkled.
They sparkled,
Twinkled.
sparkles right off of him. And Jack Lemmon played Professor Fate, the villain.
He was great.
It was just a delight, and it was always in good fun.
I still love the movie. What shocked me was what's happened to me and what's happened to our culture, that we can't wait for it anymore. It's got to be coming at us at a certain pace, it seems.
A little breakneck speed, and it's all about shock. That's the sad part about comedy now. It's about shock, not about delight or fun or revelation or hysterics or the zany comedies that we used to have. It's all about
like
shock.
The Revenge of the Pink Panther.
Well, yes. Who would ever forget Inspector Clouseau speaking here? I was there when it happened in Switzerland. And Inspector Clouseau checks into the hotel. He's hot on the trail of the Phantom, and he is signing the guest register, and the Swiss desk clerk is eyeing him. And as Clouseau signs, Blake said, "Well, let's put a dog over here at the end of the counter," and we did that. And so Clouseau signing the register, and he glances at the dog and says to the desk clerk, "Monsieur, does your dog bite?" And the hotel clerk shakes his head no. Clouseau reaches over to pet the dog, and Then he just tears him up from top to bottom, and Clouseau says, "Monsieur, I thought you said your dog does not bite." "That is not my dog."
You've had a lot of fun.
Great moment.
In so many capacities. You were even a TV news anchor. I don't know what you haven't done. You've done it all. You mentioned Pink Panther.
Yes.
Blake Edwards, of course, comes to mind. Who would have guessed how involved you have been in the lives of Blake Edwards and Julie Andrews?
Well, my entire career is due to the kindness and interest of Blake Edwards, who indeed, after I had received the Disney scholarship, actually Blake invited me to become part of his team. I helped the situation, kind of saved the day on the set, and he said, "I would invite you to become my assistant director," and that just didn't happen.